All right, let's talk about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who looked all the way back against, admittedly, a not very good Miami Dolphins team, but nonetheless, a win is a win and a blowout win is a blowout win. Let's talk about what they were able to do effectively. First, taking advantage of a short field here, although it is 4th and goal early on in the game. Dolphins are already up 3-0, so again, with the way the season has gone, the last thing you want is to get stopped here inside the 5. You see Lamar's going to roll out towards the top of the screen, and you have 3 different routes going in that direction against zone coverage with a play action. You just hope that, for Miami, there's so many guys to cover in that area. You have to get to your spot quickly. You hope someone gets kind of lost in the shuffle. Lamar Jackson takes the snap, and you see him, it's kind of a half-hearted play action. Start off as though you're going to hand it off, but then just go get to your spot. And as of right here, just no one is on Mark Andrews, the tight end. So, again, is this good defense? No, it isn't. Miami needs to cover this. But also, you run these concepts enough, eventually guys are going to get open. Eventually, you play a defense that isn't, the defense isn't going to cover it every single time. Watch as Lamar is going to hit Mark Andrews in a big play early on in the game to get them 7 points and kind of get them feeling good and feeling, okay in this one. We also saw stuff like this, which I definitely think was a real factor. So this is a 3rd down and 4. You're going to see right here, it's a zone coverage concept that the Miami Dolphins are going to run right here. So, okay, 3rd and 4. Lamar Jackson takes a snap, and as of right here, you see just how clean of a pocket he has. There is no pressure. There is no threat of pressure at this point, and containment has been given up towards the top of the screen. If you let this happen to Lamar, you're just not going to win football games. It's just not going to happen. Look over at Isaiah Likely. Watch what he's going to do. He does a very smart thing on this play, I think. Watch him keep working up the field and eventually goes down the field once he recognizes that Lamar had brought, once Lamar got outside the pocket, defenders move in. So Likely goes further down the field, and you see there's just nobody around him right now. Lamar flips it to him. He's able to turn around and make the play. So really good stuff there from Isaiah Likely. Good stuff there from Lamar and good blocking. Quite frankly, if you're blocking well, if Isaiah Likely is going to make a smart move like that and Lamar is going to get outside the pocket, can't blame the coverage too much on that one. Yes, in theory, someone should have picked up Likely eventually, but it's too difficult for a defense at that point. And you also saw stuff like this where it really felt like the Ravens were kind of having their way with this Dolphins secondary at times. I mean, it's a man coverage concept. You have multiple routes going over the middle. This is what you call a rub route. So the difference between a rub route and a pick play is kind of just a semantics thing, but ultimately pick plays are illegal, rub routes are not. This far down the field, essentially you have 2 receivers run routes that are crossing over each other, but as long as they appear to be just routes, as long as you are appearing to try and get open, it is legal. It's illegal if the route, the way it's worded is, it's illegal if your route is solely to get in somebody else's way. So watch how when Lamar Jackson takes the snap, you see both, first, the receiver who is underneath, he is looking towards Lamar, so he's making sure he does not get called here. And for Mark Andrews, he kind of sells right now as though he's going to run directly into the Miami Dolphins defender he's going up against. If he does that, it's a penalty. That's going to be an offensive pass interference. But instead, he sidesteps at the last second, almost like a matador sidestepping a bull. Those 2 Miami Dolphins defenders run into each other, and that creates the pick. Mark Andrews gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So really good stuff there by Andrews. Again, did he know the Miami player was right behind him, and is that why he did it? I don't know. Probably not. But he, put himself in position to have a good play happen. He sold it at the last second, which allowed for that collision to work. Even if it wasn't a full-on collision, it could have still just slowed the defender down enough for him to get open, but this way he got wide open. Now, we can talk negatives if we want to talk negatives. I don't know if we want to talk negatives for Lamar Jackson, but we can and should if there are negatives on tape. This is kind of the one that you look at. Lamar got some criticism previous weeks for holding onto the ball too long. Here you see tight end on this play. Watch as I believe that's actually Patrick Ricard, who does not go well for him on that one. Not ideal there. So you have pressure, and for Lamar Jackson, this is not his fault. The quick pressure, it is what it is. But again, you are going to see him try and get outside the pocket or make something happen, which is what you usually see with him. Watch as he is going to get sacked on this play. People have said he needs to learn to throw the football away a little bit more. Now, granted, it usually works. I mean, the reason why he has the strategy is because it's a good strategy. It's worked more than it's failed. It didn't work this time. Does that mean he needs to stop doing this? Well, definitely shouldn't stop doing it, right? Should he do it less? You could debate it if you want to. Either way, it didn't work on this one. But heading over here, I mean, that was really it. Really, this Ravens offense was operating at a high level. They were running the ball effectively. Henry had 6.3 yards per carry, so that certainly helps. On this one, they run a play action. Linebackers move in. You now have a player who's going more over the middle. And again, you see how open this is. It's once again Isaiah Likely, and that's also the value for Baltimore is you have Isaiah Likely and you have Mark Andrews, and even Charlie Kolar got into the mix a couple times, had a touchdown in this game. Like, you can run 2 or 3 tight end sets and then still run things off of it. Lamar Jackson hits Isaiah Likely, and again, with someone who can move like Likely, really moves like a receiver, you have no concern about going with 2 tight ends out there. You really don't. It's certainly helpful. This play, another tight end play. It's going to be an 8-point game at this point, so still, midway through the third quarter, 8-point game, you're feeling good about yourself if you're Baltimore, but things could still go wrong in a hurry if you don't convert here. It's 11 points. Dolphins get a touchdown. It's all of a sudden the game. So you're going to have Mark Andrews go from the offense's right to the offense's left, but watch how he does this. Watch how first he has to block a little bit, and then he also starts to stumble. I don't know if that was intentional or just he happened to stumble a little bit, but ultimately, what this block and then kind of the stumble does is for Miami, nobody picks him up. There's so much movement going on at the goal line. You have to be so quick. Oftentimes, you're switching, making sure you maybe don't cover the guy you line up against, things like that. Nobody picks up Andrews, and as you see, he's going to end up getting wide open. And part of why I wonder if he intentionally stumbled was you see how quickly he went from stumbling to back on his feet quickly. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but either way, it's good stuff from Baltimore to pull that off. This next play, another one where it's going to be, haven't talked about Zay Flowers at all, and I'm not going to talk about him at the beginning of this play, but we will get to it in just a second. It's Rashad Bateman actually running the route you see on your screen. This is a zone coverage concept, and his route is simple. Get the outside corner away from outside. Get him close to the middle of the field. That's what your job is further down the field. Then Zay Flowers, who's the receiver not lined up closest towards the sideline, is going to go outside the numbers, and that's where hopefully you have some space. Lamar Jackson takes the snap. These two guys run the routes very effectively to where, a Miami player is trying to pick this up and get back in space. This isn't the corner. This is a different player, but it's just too difficult. It's a tough battle to win against. It's hard enough to beat Zay Flowers just straight up, but when you're kind of scheming your way into a good situation here, it's a safety Dante Trader Jr. who's trying to keep up with him. It's just a mismatch that you're not going to win if you're the Dolphins. So it's a good scheme. Lamar Jackson does some nice work, a perfect throw, and Zay Flowers nearly gets into the end zone for a touchdown, still gets them close and sets up a touchdown that put it 28-6, the score that would be the final in this game. So yeah, again, incredibly efficient game from Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Everything was firing on all cylinders, and for a team that's 3-5, listen, we can say it's just Miami all we want. Ultimately, this was kind of a must-win game. It was a must-win game. This was a complete must-win game. And to go in there and not even let it be close, dominate this game, it does mean something. So we'll see for the Ravens, can they keep things going? They play Minnesota, who is coming off a big win in their own right. But then you got Cleveland, and you have the Jets, and you have the Bengals. Those are 3 games the Ravens are going to be heavily favored against. You still got the Steelers a couple times. They actually still have the Bengals twice. And then the Patriots and Packers are their other 2 games. Those are tough. But ultimately, if you can beat the Bengals twice, you can beat the Steelers once, you can beat the Browns, and you can beat the Jets. Well, that's 5 wins right there. That puts you at 8. You still got to beat, get 2 more wins with, I guess, either another Steelers victory, beating the Vikings, or beating either the Patriots or Packers. But those wins are available, and ultimately gotta take care of business next week, and that would go a long way. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.